Hot
Maybe
mics.
the biggest show ever.
Hot show. Hot mics. Hot show. Live from New York. It's the show that spent the whole day contemplating Draymond's suspension. It's First Things First today. I just don't even.
This guy's out of his mind.
Brew, your reaction to everything.
First, let me say this. Draymond, it's okay to apologize for things you meant to do.
Yeah.
You're not perfect. None of us are perfect. We've all done things wrong that we meant to do wrong. Yeah. And it is a lot of players. I have no regrets. No, we all got regrets. Now, relax. All right, that's number one. Number two is, and Nick, and probably compared to Nick, people might look at you as anti-Draymond. Not that that's you are, but they probably look at you as that
I've come
way.
down pretty harsh on him on a number of things.
I've probably been viewed as, I don't know about a defender of Draymond, but I haven't come down hard on him. Yeah. Like after when he choked Rudy Gobert. Just to say that is crazy. Yeah. He choked Rudy Gobert. I said 2-3 games.
Yep.
Fine. They gave him 5, whatever. But this is indefensible. All right. He basically punched Yusuf Nurkić.
Yeah.
Like and you're punching a guy that has no idea any such thing is coming. Like when he turned, it wasn't like this. Like your back is turned to him. He turned and he's trying to act like doesn't see him, but he turned and swung on him. And when you hit somebody that's not expecting to get punched, it can really do damage. So thankfully, your Nurkić is okay. But look, he didn't have a closed fist. It wasn't a slap.
No.
It was like a karate chop or something. I mean, really, it's like it's a karate chop.
There's a name for it.
Yes, and you have momentum and everything. And so this is terrible. I don't want to hear any explanation from Draymond. And look, they need to come down hard on him
so
because
what does that mean?
He hasn't been taught, and I don't know, he might be past learning his lesson.
I think
right? He maybe cost them an NBA Finals, right? He missed the finals game, might have cost him that championship. Didn't learn from that. Didn't learn from the Gobert 5 games. Even if he is past learning a lesson, he needs to be punished, and you need to protect the other players in the league. Because next time, he stomped on Sabonis. Yeah. He karate chopped Nurkić. Next time, he might really hurt somebody. Yeah. And so this is at least 10 without pay. I would be fine. I wouldn't say a word against 15.
Yep. Yeah.
15. I'm serious. This is ridiculous.
And
there's no defensiveness whatsoever.
And just quickly, 15. 5 was $770,000.
Yeah, 15 would be $2.3 million.
I mean, that is just a wild amount of money.
Yeah, well, stop acting a fool.
He could have really hurt the dude.
That's
just complete. Like
he could have broken his eye socket.
Right.
So listen, Brew, I agree.
And 10 is fine, but I'm saying I'd be fine. It should be at least 10.
Wilds. Here's my only problem with the money part of it. Then I'll get into it. Yeah. Your length of suspension should not be impacted at all by if you're a max guy or a minimum salary guy.
I buy that.
And so, the money is just game checks. You know what I mean? So if it were, he makes $21 million a year right now on his current deal. Steph makes 60. So you know what I mean? A 5-game suspension for Steph would be more than Draymond. But I'm not concerned about the money part of it.
Can I just one thing on the money part?
Sure.
The whole reason the in-season tournament worked is because guys were getting $500,000.
Yes.
And Draymond's lost more than that because Nurkić was slightly bothering him holding his hip. It just seems beyond comprehension.
Right. There is no rationality to what he's doing. And I would argue before the NBA announces his official suspension, the Warriors are within their rights to come out and say,
you think they will, though?
I think they should.
Allowed a lot of this.
But I wonder if they regret it. I wonder if they regret how important ring night was after he cold-cocked Jordan Poole. Another time he could have really hurt somebody. Yeah. Instead, he just really hurt the team. But we now have 4 wildly violent, very different incidents in 15 months. We have a Jordan Poole jumping punch. We have a stomp on Sabonis' chest. We have a choke of Gobert. We have a spinning back fist on Nurkić. 4 in 15 months. 3 in his last 26 games played. 1 in every 9 games, he's averaging a wildly violent moment.
That's crazy.
Right? I looked it up this morning. In the last 2 years, 624 people have played an NBA game. If we were to say, hey, what are the 4 most violent on-court acts committed? It would be 4 Draymond Green offenses. He is the Nikola Jokic of on-court violence, what Jokic is to like 40-point triple-doubles. It's like, hey, who's done it? It's just his name a bunch of times. And I am not, listen, I understand this is going to make it awkward for me at the, upcoming Clutch Sports Christmas party, but I'll deal with that. I think Draymond Green's out of control. I don't think he, and I mean that literally, I don't think he can control himself. And the things he's doing right now, when I said after the Gobert thing that these are UFC moves, that wasn't hyperbolic. I can prove it to you. Here, Brew, I've got video for you. That's the Jordan Poole punch. That is a UFC knockout. Now we can show you the Sabonis stomp, which we had to go to a different league because that's outlawed in the UFC. Not even allowed there. We can show you the rear naked choke on an NBA court and a guy making the same face as Gobert, like, you gotta be kidding me. And we can show you the spinning back fist. If this is
way worse than Gobert to me.
But here's the other concern, Brew, and I want your thoughts on this. It seems to be taking less and less to provoke him.
That's what's interesting.
So Sabonis, like if you remember when we argued about Sabonis, you made the point, well, Sabonis was holding him. They had been going back and forth. We all agreed the stomp was an overreaction, but there was a real back and forth. Okay, then the Gobert thing, you made the point, well, Gobert was touching Clay, even though there was at least slight provocation. Nurkić is doing something that is called playing defense. That's it. So the provocation has gotten less and less. And the other question I have is this. Let's say it's 10 games. And in 20 games, he does something else. Is he on, because in my mind, he is on a 2 strikes for this season right now. If there is another outwardly, unambiguously violent act, I'm not talking about a flagrant foul going for a life. I'm talking about something like we've seen. I think he's done for the rest of the season.
Well, it's hard to envision him doing something, but it was hard after the Gobert thing.
It's hard to envision him not.
Yeah, look, if what you said he can't control himself, then maybe, and I don't know what's going on in his life, personal life, whatever, but maybe some type of counseling. I don't want to say anger management. He doesn't seem like in his real life like he's that type of guy, but some type of counseling maybe along with the 10 or 15 games or whatever he ends up getting. Maybe that should be the case too.
Do you think, because you're big on he's out of control.
Yeah.
I found this quote, this was after the Sacramento suspension. I will continue to play the game how I play the game, operate how I operate, be exactly who I am because that leads to winning. It seems like there is a conscious decision, at least after the Sabonis incident, where he's like, you know what? It might be ugly, fellas, but it works.
But
I have a handful of rings to prove it.
And this may challenge Adam Silver. David Stern wouldn't go for this. If he comes out like this is who I am, and I love the way Draymond plays. He did it after the Gobert
thing. No apologies. He said it in this press conference.
Then maybe Adam Silver needs to step up. This dude needs to be put in his place. This is ridiculous. Nurkis would have been within his rights to knock him out. Well, and I wouldn't have wanted nothing to happen to Nurkis from the NBA. Like, dude does that to you? I mean, come on, man. That's ridiculous.
And I want to just real quick, and I'm sorry, Hubs, give us 60 more seconds here. I want to dispel what I think is a total misconception because maybe it once was true. It is no longer true that Draymond Green, foxhole guy. Draymond Green, ultimate teammate. That's a load of nonsense. You know who Steph Curry could have used last night? Draymond Green.
Lost by 3.
You know when their season started to go totally awry, when they all of a sudden went from what I think was 6-2 to where they are now, they lost 10 of 14, was after he got kicked out of a game for shoving Donovan Mitchell into row 1, which doesn't even make the greatest hits cut because that's more of a B-side of the Draymond Green dirty nonsense. That is not a good teammate. Not being available for your guys because you can't control your emotions. I love you guys. I hope I'm a good teammate. But if once every 2 weeks I was suspended from the show because I couldn't stop cursing on the air, I'm not a good teammate. I'm someone that can't control myself. Instead, I curse you guys off the air, and it works well.
That's okay.
It's interesting though, because if you're doing that, but when you're here, we're the best show on earth. That's a whole different thing.
But they're not
and
that
that's
anymore.
the thing. That, not now, but they were like. I'm not going to ruin his whole career.
No, I'm talking about right now.
I still think he's a Hall of Famer, and this shouldn't affect that. But he's been a good teammate. But this is way out of line.
Quick set: 7-5 when he plays a full game, 3-5 without him, 0-3.
They might not make the play-in.
0-3 when he's ejected.
And if he's suspended
between the Pelicans and the Jazz.
And by the way,
could be why they don't make the play-in.
He's going to miss Christmas. That's in 7 games against the Nuggets. These things matter.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, Cowboys head to Buffalo. Are you buying that the Bills are as good as anybody at any given time?
Well, that's the thing. Any given Sunday, they couldn't be as good as anybody in the NFL. Anybody. Mm-hmm. And any given Sunday, they can be as bad as anybody in the NFL. Anybody. All right, they've lost to the Patriots and the Jets, and they've beaten the Chiefs and the Dolphins. Josh Allen is leading the league in total touchdowns and leading the league in interceptions. So in one group, he's with Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. The other group, he's with Sam Howell and whoever, Joshua Dobbs.
Yeah.
The leading the league in
out of there.
But here's the thing. This might not be what you're expecting, Nick.
Yeah.
The thing is, and they're not to the volatility of Miami, but the Cowboys are a bit Jekyll and Hyde, too. That's where the whole F game came from. On the road, they're 3-3. We know they lost to Arizona. If you want to write that off as, hey, every team had one of those, okay, sure. That's fine. But we've all raved over the Cowboys. Lead the league with 188 point differential. Well, guess what? At home, it's 171.
On the road,
it's 17.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
And
all right, so they can go into Buffalo and look horrible and get beat.
Okay, that might be true, but here's the thing about the Bills. The Bills have not been this team that they are talked about like, oh man, when they are rolling, they look as good as anybody since week 4. They did not play a great game against Kansas City. Now, you could say that's an indictment on the Chiefs if you want to, because the Bills didn't have to. And I think it'd be a fair one, because the Chiefs clearly didn't play a great game either. Their first half of the Chiefs was abysmal, and the final minute was, stolen from them. But set that aside. The Bills rolled the Dolphins in week 4, and it was their 3rd straight dominant victory. Since then, what the Bills have done is lose to the Jags. A 5-point win against the Giants when the Giants were absolutely flailing. That came down to the 5-yard line, remember? The loss to the Patriots. A 6-point win against Tampa. Lost to the Bucs. Lost to the Broncos. Blew out Tim Boyle. Congrats. So did, Eastern Charlotte in college. Lost to the Eagles and beat the Chiefs. And do we all agree the Chiefs and the Cowboys are both playoff teams this year? Do we all agree with that? Okay, well, then the Bills aren't winning this game. You know why? Sean McDermott, Josh Allen, that pairing, this great pairing, the best era of Buffalo football. You know how many times in their tenure they've won back-to-back weeks over playoff teams? The answer to that's 0. They've never done it. Now, part of that can be tough because you don't always get a chance to play playoff teams back-to-back weeks. But it's never been done. What do they have that would make them a great team other than a quarterback that at times can be great? They don't have a great defense. Nobody thinks it. They're not well coached. They don't have a great coaching staff.
Have hurt the defense.
Well, yeah, but that's who they are right now. That's what I'm saying. They don't have a dominant. Diggs is an excellent player. Diggs is A, not having a great year, and B, most teams, my team doesn't, but most teams have an A- number 1 receiver at least, right? And so, what about them would make? What box do they check where that's a great team?
He's a great quarterback.
Yeah.
I'll give you that.
I know he's up and down. He's a great quarterback.
But I guess my point is that doesn't, just having a great quarterback does not make you a great team.
Can I give you this? 15-2 in December and January in the last 4 years. So maybe it's like a funky team that starts slow, but they heat up. 15-2?
So that's
I don't think you can just belittle their talent. And again, a lot of guys are injured. But if they come and bring their A game, that's a very good team.
I just don't think they have I disagree with you on the talent. I think their running game is fine. I think their overall weapons are fine because they have Diggs, and then it's fine past that. Defensively, one of the parts of the defense that it's like, oh, they have Von Miller now. Von Miller is a negative player at this point in his career. They're banged up.
The defense isn't. I wouldn't call it bad.
No, it's fine.
Solid.
That's
right.
my point. They have a lot of
but
fine and a quarterback who has A+ upside. And, a low floor because of the turnovers.
It feels like a Superman game, though, for Josh Allen. That's why I think they're favored.
Okay. All right.
And again, Dallas is not very good on the road.
I wouldn't print up any.
They're not elite on the road.
On Monday, don't print up any report card things.
I'm telling you right now, Wilds, one of the reasons they're favored is the Bills could be mathematically eliminated from the playoffs, and Vegas would give them the sixth best odds to win the Super Bowl. Vegas loves this team.
MVP odds, speaking of odds, Dak at 1, Purdy at 2, Lamar at 3, Hurts at 4, still hanging in there, and then Tyreek and Mahomes. I hate to say it, they're basically out of it.
Yep.
Brew, I changed this question before the meeting. I know you don't like this.
Uh-oh.
Can Dak become your MVP with an MVP performance in Buffalo?
You mean the MVP front runner?
Yeah, your MVP as of that moment.
Right, as of that moment.
Yes.
Because this is going down to the wire, I think, between
But
Purdy and
on Monday, can he be your MVP?
Dak. Well, if he has a great game, something else has to happen. I mean, seriously, Brock Purdy has to struggle. Like
against Arizona?
Brock Purdy has to play poorly. It's not just, wow, Dak threw for 350 and 3 touchdowns, no picks. That won't be enough if Purdy plays great. Because guess what? Arizona, Dak didn't play well. 1 touchdown, 1 interception, and they lost. All right, and Purdy has been great against the good teams he's played too. So you can't give me, wow, Dak was great against Buffalo. Purdy's been great. Let's see the graphic, Dusty. This is their numbers against playoff teams currently. 5-2, Dak's 1-2. So, he'll be 2-2. Yeah, Purdy's got him beat in every single thing by a mile.
Well, but then hold on.
So just one good game against a playoff team won't sway
definition,
if Purdy struggles.
Just real quick.
If Purdy plays well.
By definition, because we know their overall numbers on the season are almost identical. So doesn't that also mean that Purdy must have far worse numbers against bad teams?
Ooh, a reversal.
No, it doesn't, because a couple of his numbers,
he has
his 2 of his worst games are included in that.
Right.
Cleveland and Minnesota.
Right. But
so that includes 2 of his bad games.
I understand that.
Nick, he don't have bad numbers virtually anywhere other than those 3 games.
I guess maybe
2 of them
maybe
were right
I
there.
should have had the graphic made up in reverse. My point is this: if we can put that back up quickly, and the audience, I hope, will be able to follow me on this. We all know that Dak and Purdy's numbers on the season are almost identical. And if there is against playoff teams, Purdy's numbers are way better. The only way, by mathematical certainty, for their overall numbers to be even is against non-playoff teams.
He's saying
Dak's numbers.
He bombed the Cleveland game, and he bombed
2 of the bad games. He's had 3 bad games. Has he had more than 3 bad games?
No, you're not understanding me.
I understand exactly what you're saying, but it's not true.
Oh, okay.
His passer rating is way better than Dak's.
Okay. So, all right, I am.
Period, for the whole year.
I'm just doing the math off the top of my head. It means against non-playoff teams, Dak has 21 touchdowns and Purdy has 7. It means against non-playoff teams.
Well, you know what? That's not as impressive to me. I'd rather be great against a great team.
Okay, well, that's a fine argument. That's fine. But the question that I was going to have to get to you before we got to a math question was, do you think right now Purdy's way ahead of Dak?
No, I think it's close.
Okay, well then I would argue. I got it. Let me just say this. If it's close, if Dak has a great game and Purdy is just average, Dak should leapfrog him.
Nah, not necessarily.
Because Dak is playing the Bills and he's playing the Cardinals, and that's been your big knock.
Purdy's played better teams.
I understand.
You saw it with 7
but
games
despite
versus
all
3
that, Brew, you're saying it's close.
Teams.
So if this weekend Dak has an A+ performance,
that's your logic, not mine.
Okay.
Sure. All right. If you want to do that, fine. Not me.
That's fine.
Now, if Purdy plays poorly, and Dak is great, then that's another thing. But
thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.